morning everybody, and welcome to Arthur's cruise log. This is a review for day 9, Bay of Islands. I'm filming in the beautiful Colonial Club. It's very early in the morning on day 10, but this is a review for day 9. I'll just give you a little bit of the weather forecast and sunrise sunsets. We had a sunrise of 5:56 a.m. and a sunset of 8:06 p.m. There's going to be a time change for tonight, for day 9, so we gain an extra hour, which is really good, so we can get some extra sleep. This cruise has been, because it's been so relaxing in the way that we've been doing not much, so you know, whatever activities we have been doing, they've been fairly spaced out. That time in between where we just sit around and do nothing is starting to catch up, because you feel really tired when you're doing nothing. A lot of people might think that's not unusual, but I find that very unusual for me, because on holidays I still like to do something. Even though I'm not working, I still like to do something. But this is a very different cruise, and getting used to doing nothing is certainly something different for me. So we were in Bay of Islands today, and we were tendering from the ship back to Pili, I think it is. That's where they drop you off, and nearby is Russell and Watingi, which is the Maori cultural grounds, and Russell is where they signed the treaty. We kind of got up, I don't know. Oh, well, hang on. I got up around about 6:30 and just went wandering, and then I came back after doing some filming and review for the previous day. I came back and I found that the girls were up, so we slowly got ready. We had something to eat, went up to the Windjammer and had breakfast there. I've got to say, Windjammer is very... the food is up there, it's just terrible. It is. It's getting worse. The food is just the same old, nothing changes, and I must admit, the other day they did start bringing out English bacon instead of American bacon, which I think a lot of the people on board actually preferred, because you could tell when the English bacon came out, everyone swooped on it and took it all, and the American bacon is just left there. No one wants it. So we finished from there. We got some tendering tickets, and it was some time between our tendering time to being called. So we went up to the games area and we played some games for a little bit, and some card games, and that's on deck 9, I think. Could be wrong. Deck 9 or deck 10, one of those two. And that's great. We just spent some time, and then we heard our number, so we went down to 4, 3, 2, and onto the ship, the tendering boat. And I must admit, it was a nice smooth tendering from the ship to shore, which was really good, because the other ones has been a bit bumpy, But it was really good to get onto shore. I think everyone had the same idea, and they headed straight to the library there, because the library has free Wi-Fi. But the problem is, because everyone's there, and that's the only free Wi-Fi, everyone's using it. So there's you get no internet whatsoever. There's no bandwidth left. There's nothing. We just tried to message a couple of people, and it just didn't work. So anyway, so we left from there, and we just potted around, looked around, took in the sights, and I think because we were tired, we didn't really want to do much. So we Because what happens is when you get on shore, there's a shuttle service that takes you to Pili. So so that's what we did. We took that shuttle service to Pili, and it was only a short little ride, 5 minutes, not even. So we did that, took that there, looked around, and wasn't much to do there, I'll tell you that. It kind of reminded me of Victor Harbour in South Australia, very slow, sleepy, hippie town. Lots of people, very hippie, and I mean hippie, like I'm talking, people with dreads and, the hippie clothing and barefooted walking around, and, they're very, it was a hippie town, to say the least. But it was enjoyable, we went and had, we looked at the art and crafts, looked in a few other shops and all this and that one. Nothing really got our attention. There's a art and craft thing on there in the square next to the library, and same old stuff. New Zealand souvenirs and stuff. We did actually go. The whole reason why I wanted to Bay Island was going to be my crowning jewel was. When watching Libby Whitnell, and when she did to New Zealand and the South Pacific on the Explorer, they did a helicopter ride from there to all the Bay of Islands for like 20 minutes. And when I looked it up online, I saw it was like $300 to do it, New Zealand. It was $300. But because of circumstances out of our control, I couldn't really justify spending $300 on something for myself when we had other priorities that had to take place. So I had to say no to it, even though my missus did say, let's just do it, we'll deal with it later. And I said, no, that's not fair for me to enjoy myself without you guys. So I'm about having a good time with my family as well. Yes, I wouldn't mind doing it, but also at the same time, you know what, there's another cruise to New Zealand, and that cruise I will probably do it. So I'll wait until then, most likely. So I missed out. I got to take a few pictures with the helicopter and stuff like that, and get to watch it fly off and stuff. So my heart sank. But anyway, the way it is, like I said, having a good time with my family is probably more important than having a splurge on myself. So we did that. We looked around and everything, and we bought some souvenirs nearby. And then we went to a place called Jimmy Jack's, which is like a American style barbecue, ribs, steaks, and all that type of stuff. So yeah, it was actually pretty good. I got the taster Jimmy ribs, and Kerry got the steak sandwich, and I mean, it was a steak, literally a big fat steak on a prosciutto, not prosciutto, on a focaccia roll. So how big a focaccia roll is. It's fairly big. I reckon it was easy 8 inches long steak by about 4 inches wide. It was a fairly big steak, and about an inch thick. It was pretty thick, and it was too much for Kerry, so she had to like deconstruct the steak sandwich and eat the steak separately, and then have the bread separately and have the vegetables separately. It was just too much to have all in one hit. You had to thing. The ribs was really nice, really I wouldn't say fall off your bone tender, but it was really nice, tasty, nice and smoky, and I think because they didn't use the baby back, they used the whole rib. It wasn't as delicious, or it was the part of the rib nearest to the spine, so it had the muscle to it, and then it had all the tenue and all the gristle top stuff next to it, so it wasn't 100% best. But I would recommend for anyone to go there if you just want to have a nice decent meal. Little Brookie got loaded fries, and that was pretty cool, just to see all these fries with cheese and no, wedges, sorry, wedges. These wedges with cheese and bacon and sour cream, and it was nice. You know, we all picked at it, and it was really good. And that time, Kerry decided, she might head back to the ship, and I said to her, oh look, you know, I might as well catch the shuttle and go to Wantingi, or you know, if you don't mind, I'll head over to Russell. And when I sat down to start to eat, and this is now, I started getting really sore in my knees, and that's one thing that's been plaguing me all cruise. My knees have been really sore, so you know, I said to her, look, you know, halfway through the meal, I just said, look, I think I'll come back with you guys. It's just too much walking to do around, and my knees are really killing me. So I said no to that. So we just took the tender back, and it was the same as Auckland. As we're heading back, it started to rain, but lucky when we got to the pickup point to go to the back to the ship, it was starting to rain, but when we got off, we only had to walk a short distance, and the rest of the time it was undercover until we got onto the tender. So we got back on board. We rang back home to make sure, not make sure, but you know, see if everyone's okay, and you know, see what the weather was like back there. And by the time we got back on board and we headed up to deck 11 to have some ice cream at Windjammers, you know, I bet you people are probably saying, you know, oh, you give shit about Windjammer, but you go up there and have ice cream. Well, you know, my daughter wanted ice cream, so what I want to say, no, that's the only place that has the ice cream. You know, I wish it had a better general bar like they did on Voyager. You know, I'd be giving that rather than the soft serve. But either way, you know, that was nice. And while we're eating, it bucketed down, and I mean bucketed down, and you know, it was pretty. Well, like, lucky we got there in time. Luckily we got back in time. So yeah, we made a couple of phone calls to check everything, and it was raining back in Adelaide, and they just had a little bit of a heat wave just recently. So hopefully by the time we get back, it shouldn't be too bad. But I did get to check the weather while I was in Auckland, and they said Adelaide was going to be 31 on Saturday when we returned. So that's all right. It's better than what it has been here. More than double. So from there, we just potted around and did not much. Went back to the cabin for a little bit and hung out for the cabin. Then we went to look around at some things. Met up with a couple of people that I knew from the Facebook group, and other people started talking, had a coffee, and then head back to the cabin, took a little bit of a rest. Then we met up with the other people that we were travelling with and had a bit of a chat with them. And by the time we did that, that was dinner. Went to dinner, and I'll let you know what I had for dinner. Dinner was which I wanted to try all cruise long, and I was hoping that would happen. Was cordon bleu, and that's what it was. So I had for starter crab cake, cream of mushroom, and chilled honeydew melon soup. I've had the melon soup before, and that's nice. It was nice and refreshing. The cream of soup, that was pretty good. It was a hearty meal. I wouldn't mind that. Crab cake was actually really nice. A little bit warm. It had a nice spice to it. The sauce that it came with, it was really nice as well. So that was pretty good starters. Now for mains, I had, as I just said, the Australian cage-free chicken cordon bleu, and I was wanting to have that to compare it to Voyager of the Seas, because Voyager of the Seas, that was my favourite meal, one of my favourite meals besides Chops Grill. It was one of my favourites on there, and I wanted to compare it, and I would have to say it wasn't exactly like it, but it was about 90%, so it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. And I also got a Greek vegetarian moussaka to share with all of us, but because we were so not hungry, but by the time we finished with everything, Kerry got she got the pasta, and Alan got the lamb rump, and he was saying the lamb rump, it wasn't as tender as he thought it might be. Kerry really enjoyed the pasta, which was the orecchiette pasta, and that was nice, she reckons. But the vegetarian moussaka, a big no-no. Oh, that was terrible. I didn't like it at all. It was dry. It was had no flavour. They put the breadcrumbs on the bottom, so it absorbed everything. So all the eggplant had no flavour, no moisture, no nothing, and it was just yuck. I really didn't like it. I wouldn't get that again. I only ate half of it. And then for dessert, I wasn't, because that put me off, I didn't really want to have too much of a dessert. So Alan got the rum baba cake, and he said he really enjoyed it. I didn't want to have too much, so I just had my cream brulee, and I really did enjoy that cream brulee. The first night was really good, and this one wasn't as best. It was lukewarm at best. It had lots of syrup to it. It had hardly any crust on it, whereas the first night was warm, very warm, had a nice crust to it, but the only problem was it was a bit of a powdery form, whereas this one had a bit of an eggy one. So we've got to get it right, hopefully. I'll try it another time. So yeah, that wasn't too bad. There was a show on, some female singer, and we thought about going to it, but because we were so not disappointed, the ending for me was disappointing for dinner, but because we were so full from having everything, we just decided to have just have a couple of cocktails and see how the night goes on. We had to pick up Brookie from the, what's her name, kids club. So we just hung around in the champagne bar, had a couple of cocktails, talked, listened to the music. They had a 50s, 60s dance on, so that was pretty cool to listen to that. And then went and got her and went to bed. We did receive our luggage tags and stuff like that, but I've got to go to guest services and get that changed, because we did tick for 8 to 9 disembarkation. However, they gave us at 7:40. No, we're going to get that changed. I went this morning and asked, and they said, yep, come around and do it. Are you leaving as an independent guest? Yep, alright, not a problem, cool. So that's what I did, and I just got to confer with everybody what time we all want to leave. But we always choose baggage. You put your baggage out the night before, and you they collect it for you, and you collect it on the pier the following morning, because we like to take it not a little bit easy, but it'd be too much of a hassle to get up, like say 6 o'clock in the morning, to be at Windjammers by 6:30 to eat, and then get off the boat by 7. You feel like you're rushing. So, and I really don't want to do that on the last day, and especially on disembarkation day. And not only that, we've got private pickup transfers from the port to the airport, and that's coming at 10 o'clock. So we don't want to stick around outside the port, because there's no real seating outside, and the cafe I think doesn't open until 9 o'clock. So I don't want to be in there when everybody's in the cafe at the same time. So I want to have it as long as possible, and then once it picks us up, we can go to the airport and at least hang around at the airport. I'd rather hang around the airport than hang around at the port, and just get everything all organised. So yeah, alright. Anyway, so that's enough for me. Hopefully everything goes well for today. It's going to be a sea day today, 1 and 2, so hopefully we're going to have a nice, quiet, relaxing day. Seems to be very nice. While I'm here, I'm watching the sunrise come up, and it's actually quite nice to see. So hopefully it'll be a sunnier day. I already walked out around, and it feels a little bit more warmer. So hopefully we get to spend some time in the pool. Maybe tomorrow, if it's decent weather, we might get out in the pool and really enjoy ourselves. So that's enough from me. Please like and leave your comments below. I'll try to get back to them as best as possible. And once again, I'll have to say that, you know, what I experience here are my opinions. And if you don't like them, I'm sorry, but that's my experiences my opinions based on the experience here. Wrap up for day 9, and I will give you a wrap up of day 10, our first sea day back to Australia. Bye for now.